Welcome to Biology Brilliance.
Hello, welcome to Biology Brilliance. In the last few videos, we studied about the living world, the first chapter. Now in today's video we will start second chapter, that is biological classification. So, let us begin with different system of classification of living organisms. Different system of classification was proposed by different scientists. Firstly, we will learn about Aristotle's classification. Aristotle was the earliest to attempt a more scientific basis for classification of organisms. He classified plants into trees, shrubs and herbs, and animals into two groups, those which had red blood and those that did not. Now, two-kingdom classification, it is proposed by Linnaeus. He categorized living organisms into two categories, plant and animal kingdom. Since this two-kingdom system of classification is based on only mode of nutrition and mobility, there are some demerits of this system classification. Prokaryotes, bacteria, cyanobacteria, and eukaryotes, fungi, mosses, ferns, gymnosperms and angiosperms, were included under plants. It is based on the presence of cell wall. But prokaryotes and eukaryotes are widely differed in other features. It included unicellular and multicellular organisms in same group. For example, Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra were placed under algae. It did not differentiate between heterotrophic fungi and autotrophic green plants. Fungi have chitinous cell wall while the green plants have cellulosic cell wall. Now, five-kingdom classification. The classification system is widely accepted because it classifies organisms based on certain specific characteristics. It is proposed by R. H. Whitaker. It includes Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia. This classification is based on cell structure, thallus organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction and phylogenetic relationships. According to this system of classification, the organisms were classified into Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, and Kingdom Animalia. The main characters that were considered for classification are type of cell, cell wall, nuclear membrane, body organization, and mode of nutrition. Now, we learn about Kingdom Monera. Kingdom Monera includes all bacteria and cyanobacteria. Bacteria are the most abundant microorganisms. Hundreds of bacteria are present in a handful of soil. Some bacteria also live in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snow and deep oceans. Many bacteria are parasites. Bacteria can be categorized into four types based on their shape. Spherical-shaped bacteria are called coccus. Rod-shaped bacteria are called bacillus. Comma-shaped bacteria are called vibrio. Spiral-shaped bacteria are called spirillum. Now, we will learn about bacteria in detail. If we observe the bacterial cell, we find bacterial cell is very simple, but they are complex and show metabolic diversity. Some bacteria are autotrophic, that is, they synthesize food from inorganic substrates. Majority are heterotrophs, they do not synthesize the food but depend on other organisms or on dead organic matter for food. Bacteria are broadly classified into two types, archaebacteria and eubacteria. Archaebacteria are of three types, halophiles, thermoacidophiles, and methanogens. Eubacteria, also called true bacteria, are of two types, autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs are further divided into photosynthetic and chemosynthetic autotrophs, whereas heterotrophic bacteria are classified into parasitic and saprophytic types. Now, we will study in detail about archaebacteria. Archaebacteria are primitive type of bacteria adapted to live in harsh and extreme conditions such as extreme salty areas called halophiles, that live in hot springs are called thermoacidophiles, and that live in marshy areas are called methanogens. Archaebacteria have a different cell wall structure for their survival in extreme conditions. Methanogens are present in the guts of ruminant animals such as cows, buffaloes, etc. They produce methane, a biogas from the dung of these animals. Now eubacteria. Eubacteria are true bacteria having rigid cell wall and flagella in motile forms. Eubacteria includes autotrophic, photosynthetic and chemosynthetic and heterotrophic bacteria. Cyanobacteria, blue-green algae are examples of autotrophic bacteria. They have chlorophyll similar to that of green plants. These are unicellular, colonial or filamentous, marine or terrestrial algae. The colonies are generally surrounded by gelatinous sheath. They often form blooms in polluted water bodies. Some of them fix atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cells called heterocysts. Example, nostoc and anabina. Chemosynthetic oxidize inorganic substances such as nitrates, nitrites and ammonia and use the released energy for their ATP production. They play a great role in recycling nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and sulfur. Examples, Nitrosomonas, Nitrobacter. Now, heterotrophic bacteria. Most abundant in nature are heterotrophic bacteria and majority of these are important decomposers. Now, we will learn about impacts of heterotrophic bacteria on human affairs. They are used to make curd from milk, production of antibiotics, fixing nitrogen in legume roots etc. Some are pathogens causing damage to human beings, crops, farm animals and pets. Examples cholera, typhoid, tetanus, and citrus canker. Now, we will quickly learn about reproduction in bacteria. Bacteria reproduce mainly by fission. Under unfavorable conditions, they produce spores. They also reproduce by a sort of sexual reproduction by adopting a primitive type of DNA transfer from one bacterium to the other. Now we will learn about a type of microorganism, the mycoplasma. Mycoplasma are organisms without a cell wall. They are the smallest living cells known. They can survive without oxygen. Many are pathogenic in animals and plants. Now, after learning about kingdom Monera, we will learn about kingdom Protista. It includes single-celled eukaryotes. Protists are primarily aquatic. It forms a link with plants, animals, and fungi. Cell contains well-defined nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. Some have flagella or cilia. Reproduce asexually and sexually by a process involving cell fusion and zygote formation. Kingdom Protista is classified into 5 types: chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. Chrysophytes, these are found in fresh water and marine environments. These are microscopic and float passively in water currents, plankton. Most of these are photosynthetic. It includes diatoms and golden algae, desmids. Diatoms, they have siliceous cell walls forming 2 thin overlapping shells, which fit together as in a soap box. The cell wall deposit of diatoms over billions of years in their habitat is known as diatomaceous earth. This is used in polishing, filtration of oils and syrups. Diatoms are the chief producers in the oceans. Dinoflagellates, mostly marine and photosynthetic. These appear yellow, green, brown, blue or red depending on the main pigments in cells. Cell wall has stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface. Euglenoids, these are mainly freshwater organisms found in stagnant water. Instead of cell wall, they have a protein-rich layer called pellicle. It makes their body flexible. They have 2 flagella, a short and a long one. They are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight. When deprived of sunlight they behave like heterotrophs by predating on other smaller organisms. The pigments of euglenoids are identical to those of higher plants. Example, euglena. Slime molds are saprophytic protists. The body moves along decaying twigs and leaves engulfing organic material. Under suitable conditions, they form an aggregation called plasmodium which may grow and spread over several feet. During unfavorable conditions, the plasmodium differentiates and forms fruiting bodies bearing spores at their tips. Spores possess true walls. They are extremely resistant and survive for many years. The spores are dispersed by air currents. Protozoans. Protozoans are heterotrophs, predators or parasites. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals. There are four major groups of protozoans: amoeboid protozoans, flagellated protozoans, ciliated protozoans, sporozoans. Amoeboid protozoans live in freshwater, seawater, or moist soil. They move and capture prey by putting out pseudopodia, false feet. Example, amoeba. Marine forms have silica shells on their surface. Some are parasites. Example, entamoeba. Flagellated protozoans are free-living or parasitic. They have flagella. Parasitic forms cause diseases like sleeping sickness. Example, trypanosoma. Ciliated protozoans are aquatic, actively move using cilia. They have a cavity, gullet, that opens to outside. Due to the movement of cilia, water with food enters into gullet. Example, paramecium. Sporozoans have an infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle. Example, Plasmodium, malarial parasite. It causes malaria. This was all about for today's lesson. We will learn next topic in next videos. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to receive notification for next video.